Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsill. It's not as silent. There are still people out driving around today. Silent Sabbath for the Mormon Church. Sunday, silent Sunday. I'm still getting people who are abusing me verbally and making comments, thinking that I've been proven wrong somehow. The recent one is a German who's reaching out to me, and he was able to con me into giving him my email, and he responded today, because at first, they're all, oh wow, this is so awesome, you're great, and oh, I left the church. And then when you get more into their story, they contradict themselves with their original talk, and no, I didn't really care about the church, I was never a part of it. And so, it's clear he's a Nazi reborn in Germany, because those of you who make a comment through my email from YouTube, I'm able to track your IP address. So unless you're highly skilled at being able to mislead the IP address information, I know exactly where you are. This particular German just completely turned when he got access to my email, and Google does not offer a delete feature. There's spam, and then there's mute. Google again is making us vulnerable to abusers. But he's completely turned now and is thinking he can mock me. And his latest mock is, I thought you said the church leaders were going to flee and abandon the church. Yes, they're still in that process. Again, I've told you guys, they've been giving, what's it called? It's the gambling term. Now I forget it after I've been using it. Tells. And the church's tells are revealing their hand that they're going to flee. Going to. That doesn't mean now. So this German loser is not understanding, because the tells go back to Nelson's first conference. And even before that, but the tell is that the church is making multiple plans, plan A, plan B, plan C, just in case their main plan fails. And what I've recognized is that the church is planning to restore polygamy in 2024, and I recognize that they knew of a worldwide disaster that would murder millions of people, which means they're in on this worldwide plot, because they didn't warn the Mormons, they didn't prepare the Mormons, they kept it a secret from us. So they're not following Amos 3:7, even in its incorrect translation as it currently exists. And what critics of me don't understand is that things aren't going to happen the way you interpret me saying they're going to happen. You're imposing a timeline on my predictions. I'm not giving you on the 13th of March 2020 the church is going to flee. I'm not doing that. I'm saying they're doing actions that indicate they're preparing to flee. And that's what these trigger boys think that they're clever with, is that I can get all mad at them. Oh no, it's gonna... Screw you. And so, like I said, when the Handbook 1 got released, I checked, when did they first report this, that it was going to be released? Because I found out the day before it was going to be released. And so, well, when was this? What's going on? And so I find out the Thursday before the judge is supposed to make an evaluation on my case, which the judge didn't, but the church again was preparing. They waited till the last minute to make the announcement, we're going to release the Handbook number 1. And the week that they release it was the day after the Boy Scouts declare bankruptcy. And again, the church was a part of the Boy Scouts. They were intertwined. They supplied leaders and boys that got raped. The church offered up Mormon boys as sacrificial lambs for the rapists. And the church bailed because they didn't want to be legally liable to pay out restitution. And that's another tell. It's the modus operandi of the church. They commit crimes, then they bail, so they don't have to pay out the money damages. They did it with the LDS hospital, they did it with their family services abortion or anti-abortion clinic. And that was the scandal which caused them to close. They did it with the Boy Scouts. Because at first, homosexuals were allowed in, and the church was saying, we're not happy about this. And then women wanted to join the Boy Scouts. Because Boy Scouts needed to recruit more people, and the church said, all right, that's it, we're out. Women cannot be equal with men. How dare they? When you see the timeline, you realize they're setting things up. And so yes, I'm predicting 2024. Now, conference weekend, the 6th of April, which all Mormons are expecting to be the dedicatory day for the Salt Lake Temple. So we're expecting a big special conference session where they're going to be in the Salt Lake Temple making the dedication, the rededication, and having a special historical thing probably about Brigham Young's the greatest prophet ever. It was a perfect phone call. And like I said, the tells are setting themselves up for them to restore polygamy. What else are they going to restore? But again, like I said, that also the tell indicates they knew about this coronavirus that would kill off the older generations. Who are the high priests in the church? The older generations. If you don't understand your Mormon doctrine and theology for the afterlife, who gets exalted? Section 76, if you're not familiar with the scriptures. High priests. You have to be a high priest to be exalted. You can't just be a regular Melchizedek priesthood holder. You have to be in the high priest office. because only the high priest can enter into the Holy of Holies. And thus, only a high priest can be exalted in the afterlife. And then go to section 132 about polygamy, which replaced Joseph Smith's scripture of monogamy. And read it. It says you cannot be exalted unless you're a polygamist. So you combine section 76 with section 132, you have to be a high priest in order to be a polygamist. And what did Nelson do? Demoted all the high priests into the elders. Elders can no longer be put in a high priest office. There's no need to now, because there's no high priest group, quorum. So only bishops, stake presidents, and I believe high councilmen have to be high priests. Bishops, counselors don't need to be high priests. Other elders, quorum, etc., and obviously don't need to be high priests. Just the elite leaders. That's what Nelson did to us. And now they knew about the coronavirus, and here it is, and who does it target? The older generation of high priests. Are you not seeing it? Are you still in denial? No, the church is true. It's got to be true. It's true. It's true. Saying it 3 times and clicking your heels does not make it true. They're purposely setting it up. And I'm just the warning voice. So, guys, pay attention. Because if the women survive, they're going to be given to someone else so that they can be exalted. Because we're going to have a different economy in 2024. Because we can't sustain our current economy. It's collapsing the nation. Businesses are all shutting down. People aren't getting paid. Trump is saying, oh, well, we've got the stimulus package to help out those suffering from coronavirus. Everybody unemployed? Are you kidding me? It ain't gonna happen. And so, yeah, we're being lied to purposely because we're under attack. And I've been warning you guys we're under attack. They have moved up the chain that I did a video on of the stages of warfare from the art of war. They've now done the physical attack. And in the art of war, it's all about how to defeat your enemy without the cost of life of your men. Coronavirus. Seems pretty efficient. We just supply a virus into the population of our enemy, kill them off, weaken them. That's to a T from the art of war. And nobody sees it. And our leaders are all telling us, oh, this is just temporary. It'll just disappear. We don't have a cure, but we're going to get those tests. We're going to test. We're going to find out who has it. And then we're going to quarantine you. But like I said, I was a victim of that type of thing, where I was disappeared. I committed no crime. They had no intention of taking me to trial. The report, an Amazon original, saw that not too long ago. Yeah, that's what Utah did to me. That's what the church ordered Utah to do to me. That's what the church paid the person to do to me. See, the person already got paid when the judge ordered the report. But then the church added payment on top of that after I was disappeared as a reward. Suckering in other Mormons to her employment so that the church can monitor them and control them. It's just horrifying. I mean, this goes beyond 1984. Beyond Big Brother. And so, it's really disturbing. Very disturbing what I see taking place. And if you're going to jump the gun thinking you're going to trigger me, you're going to play the fool. Because they're coming after you. You know, you too. There's going to be a hashtag, you too. Because this virus is a killer for everyone who are high priest age. And so elders who are left in 2024, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be denied marriage because all the Mormon women are going to be given to those who are worthy of being a high priest. And we've already seen it. I've been to the singles wards here in Utah. There are women, a lot of women, who lower their standards by saying, well, I want just somebody who's bishop worthy, bishop material. How do you know unless he becomes a bishop? Well, yeah, I'm looking for a guy who is a bishop. But the bishop can't be single. And so there's lots of women who don't get married. And you have, what's her name? Sister Nancy Drew or whatever that's in charge of the Deseret book. She was pursuing one of the single apostles who'd been he's a widower. And she was pursuing him. And she didn't get him. And so she remains single to this day. She refused to settle for anyone less than an apostle. And so when the church implements this, the whole mindset of Mormons who are Mormon women who continue to believe and are faithful is going to change. Oh, you're not a high priest. You're not good enough for me now. So what are we men going to do? Because they're not going to bring back brothels like Brigham Young established for the men who didn't get a wife back then. What are they going to do? Because they'll be throwing the guilt trip. You guys aren't worthy. You guys are evil. You need to repent. You work hard. Maybe you can become a high priest one day. But all the high priest offices are filled, and it's a permanent position until you die. We all know in Utah that's the case. You know, only the friends of the leaders get put into leadership positions. It's not a worthiness condition. Because if it was a worthiness condition, I would have been elevated. I went to the temple every day doing my own family history names. I mean, come on. I was studying the scriptures. I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. I deciphered Egyptian petroglyphs, proving Joseph Smith was on the right track and how he did it. That's not how it's done, is it? And you, my target audience, are the ones who are at least coming to my site, according to the analytics, who are around my age, 35 to 55. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And so the weak are being assassinated, and so it's coming, guys. I've not been wrong. I've always been right.